Good day. My name is Lauren Paramur, and I am a member of the team that helps to run the Democratizing Global Health Governance program at PHM. One of the tools this team has at its disposal is the WHO tracker. And this short video is designed to give you a sense of how the tracker works and how you might be able to use it in your own work. So without further ado, I'm going to open up the tracker screen so you can see how I negotiate the page and work through some of the options that it presents to us. So in front, you'll see the WHO tracker page. It was created by Professor David Legg, who has compiled the information on this page for many, many years. So one of the things that's important about this page is that it's an incredible archive of records of World Health Organization meetings. What that means is that you can access records of the global governing bodies of the World Health Organization. So that means its executive board meetings, EB, the World Health Administration, the World Health Assembly, meetings, which is here, WHA, and then also the records associated with the Program and Budget Administration Committee, which is known as PBAC for short. So these three sets of meetings refer to meetings that happen at the WHO headquarters in Geneva. The executive board meeting happens usually in January and prepares the agenda items and documentation for the World Health Assembly, which usually happens in May. Um, the Program and Budget Administration Committee is a subcommittee of the EB. And so the EBAC is the smallest committee. It feeds into EB, which is a bit bigger and has regional representation from all regions of the WHO membership. And then the biggest meeting is the Assembly, which happens in May and where all member states are eligible to participate. You can also find on this website the documentation of regional committee meetings, and that's what you see here. So, for example, being documentation related to the African region. If you scroll down, you can see that this website also allows you to access documentation for other global governance institutions. So why do I say they're global governance institutions? Well, because they're institutions that might not have an explicit health mandate, but their work certainly impacts on health matters. So, for example, the World Trade Organization isn't a health governance institution as we classically define it, but certainly its policies on intellectual property rights, for example, means that many people across the world can't get access to the medication they need because it's been patented in line with World Trade Organization rules on intellectual property. And these, of course, stipulate that in most countries, member states of WTO have to patent new inventions for a period of 20 years, and this includes pharmaceutical processes, production processes, but also products. So that's the basic structure of the page. If you want to have a look at a specific meeting, let's say you want to explore what's been discussed at the World Health Assembly and you're interested at the most recent in the most recent assembly, you'd click on WHA 77, which happened in 2024, May. And here you'll see a list of official documents. One of the things that's usually easiest to do if you want to have a sense of what was addressed during this meeting is to look at the provisional agenda. And so you can click on this link right here to get the actual agenda document. So that's the document that was circulated ahead of the meeting, and it has all of the agenda points, and you'll see embedded in the agenda are links to other documents that discuss issues that are stated on the agenda. So if we jump back, you'll see also that the tracker page for WHA 77 mimics or echoes the structure of the agenda. So for example, point 1 of this page deals with the opening meeting and the adoption of the agenda, and here you'll have all of the links that pertain to that. Because WHO streams some of the meeting proceedings, you'll see that where the video is available, that also has been posted on this page, and that's something new. It's not something that's available for all assembly meetings. So if you scroll down and you look at more substantive agenda items, you'll see that what we have included on the, for example, item on infection prevention and control, the draft global action plan for infection prevention and control is the documentation for the assembly itself. Included also would be any documentation that was discussed at the executive board meeting immediately before the assembly. So by immediately before, I mean in January of the same year. So often the documentation at the executive board meeting feeds into the assembly processes. And so that's why these documents are here. And then you'll see the PHM comment, which is an analysis of the documentation produced for the executive board meeting, and if there's any significant update, also the documentation presented and for discussion during the assembly. So the PHM comment really is PHM's position, PHM's analysis of what's being discussed at the assembly. And it's usually a position that's collectively developed. So under the leadership and coordination of David, people are invited to contribute to an analysis of certain agenda items. They will then send their comments to him. He will compile it into this format, and that then gets posted on the tracker page. And so this then would be one way to think about if a PHM activist read the documentation on this agenda item and they use the critical political economy lens, what might they say about what WHO has published for discussion at this particular meeting? So that's the purpose of the commentary. The commentary is not something published by WHO. It's very much PHM's comment on the documentation published by WHO. So again, you can see that there's a recording of the debate that's been posted, and then also whatever actions or resolutions get passed at the meeting get posted on the same page once the meeting is concluded. So if you were to look at a specific agenda item for the purposes of your workshop or your own research, what would probably be easiest is to look first at where it is on the agenda item number. That would link you to the documentation, at least some of it, that was published by WHO itself. And then after that, you could scroll down and find that same agenda item number in the tracker page, and then look at the additional material that's been posted there. You could also, if you want to look at discussions of the same agenda item at other meetings, so infection prevention and control was the document we looked at earlier. You could type it in the keyword search, then you could say, well, I want to look at what's been discussed on that item in relation to other WHA meetings. And so you could search, and then we can see what gets generated. And usually if you look at it over time, that kind of history will give you a sense of how the issue has shifted over time. So here you'll see that past presentations on this item were included in the tracker for May 2022's assembly, last year's assembly, May 2023, and then of course this year. So that will give you a kind of historical comparison. With that, I will end my presentation of the tracker page. This was intended to be a very brief overview. I hope it's helpful, and please have a look at how you can use this page in your own work. Thank you for listening.